quite simply, people are the heartbeat of an organization, right? And you think about all the roles and the departments that exist. It could be folks that run sales teams, customer service people. You might even think about individual roles like a CFO and how she might need a particular set of analytics or dashboards. And we've got IT groups and other support organizations that ultimately, keep the train on the tracks. And you think too about all the needs that these organizations have that aren't necessarily met by the frameworks and the technologies that you have today. You may have a CRM in place, but you're not managing marketing and outbound emails in an automated way, for example. Or you've got CRM, but it's not connected to back office. So you've got all these extra needs that go somewhat unmet. And I'll just call this the backlog of projects here. And when you think about what would happen to your organization if you could meet that entire backlog of projects, what impact would that have across your competitive advantages or impact on customer experience, for example? Well, quite often when we talk with companies, only about 20% of those backlogged projects actually get the green light to go forward. They get time, they get money, they get resources perhaps from IT to actually spend on those projects. Of those projects, so many of them are just filling the gaps. So you think about, simple gaps between, sales tools and back office finance. Maybe there's a pathway, an API that has yet to be written, and it's not really innovation. It's just simply, table stakes for keeping your lights on. So what's left is really a small percentage of projects that you might consider actual innovations. Maybe half that. Say 10%, for example. And what we aim to do with Power Platform, of course, is ways to think about and put tools in the hands of all the people, here on this left-hand side across sales and customer service that can actually make a difference. So this, of course, is driven by such a limitation of resources today. So we talk with companies that end up doing things that look a little crazy. So I'll give you just a quick example of that here. Maybe you've got I'm biased, of course, I work at Microsoft. You've got a SharePoint site that does a lot, but it's not enterprise, it's not an ERP. Maybe you've got a beautiful set of spreadsheets. Maybe you've got a third-party database that's hosted in some other cloud. And all of this, of course, starts to fill in the gaps that you have across the organization. Let's see if I can get my whiteboard to behave with me. There we go. So what does this look like? And I imagine this will be familiar to you all in some form or another. You've got an approval that needs to go out to a particular person. They maybe download an attachment. They print it out as a PDF and they sign it. That gets uploaded back into the cloud and then uploaded again to this third-party database. And what you have here is really a compliance mess. You've got data leakage, you've got errors, you've got $1 million contract that was approved by the wrong person or approved in 8 days instead of 2 days, and maybe you lost the deal. So what we're going to talk about today really at a high level is another way to think about managing the business. And again, I call myself a power user for what I do at Microsoft today. I want to introduce to you all, and you all should be aware of this already, just simply from registering for this event, is getting involved with the Power Platform itself. And you think about all that backlog of projects, and I started to sketch it up a moment ago, but what used to be, say, 10% of projects that might actually drive a new competitive advantage, or maybe open up an entirely new pathway, a new channel for sales and revenue that didn't exist before. With tooling like the Power Platform, your ability to drive projects that are actually innovations more than just stopgaps for technological debt really starts to scale up in a big way. And I'll give you one quick example, and then I'm going to introduce my presenter for today, Marco, really your presenter. But imagine, for example, that you have perhaps a marketing tool. I say a marketing tool that's not Microsoft. That's fine. Maybe you also have Dynamics 365, for sales. We'll just call it CRM for simplicity's sake. And then you've got another application, a non-Microsoft ERP. Maybe it's SAP, for example. And you need the ability to push qualified leads into your dynamic CRM and then push closed orders to be invoiced in ERP later on. All of this is entirely possible and really, dare I say, easy with Power Automate. And it starts to bring technologies together that might live under the Microsoft world, or perhaps from other technologies that aren't flying the Microsoft flag. So that is a little bit of a primer for where we're going to go today, and hopefully a way for you all to think about really covering those gaps and driving more innovations.